House of Ramirez does not do sports, politics, or religion. However, understanding that the city elections are this year and how impactful and important it is for all of us Atlantans, I have decided to open my platform to politics, to give a fair shot to each running candidate to tell their story. This conversation needed to happen, and we are having the conversation for the love of community.
Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. You already know what's up. We out here in Atlanta. We're doing it big, and we're spotlighting entrepreneurs and people that are doing big things in the community. Y'all know how I get down. I want to go ahead and bring on my sister, Katie Kissel. Katie, can you please go ahead and tell the audience that don't know you yet, who you are and where you are from?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. But yes, as Leslie said, I am Katie Kissel. I am running for Atlanta City Council, District 5. I am the president of Kirkwood Neighbors Organization and a lot of other things in addition to that. So give me a second while I run the roll on this. So I am a mother to two beautiful children, Gus and Charlie, ages 7 and 4. They attend our traditional public school here in Kirkwood, Tumor Elementary. I also am a wife to my high school sweetheart, Matt, and I am a working mom. So I work for a company called For Momentum. We do outreach on behalf of large national and international nonprofits. So like Habitat for Humanity, Boys and Girls Club, Donors Choose. I basically reach out to corporate partners and help them, facilitate, getting more money to fund their operation. So, that's a little bit about what I do in my free time. In addition to being president of Kirkwood Neighbors Organization, I also am a mentor and board member of H.O.R, Helping Empower Youth. We work with youth water entrepreneurs across the city. I'm a steering committee and board member of Unearthing Farm and Market. It's a nonprofit farm based on equity and mutual aid. Our focus, our focus is to feed legacy and low-income residents. I also am a legal observer with the ACLU. And in addition to that, I am a founding board member of Atlanta's chapter of Integrated Schools, which is a national organization that works towards fighting the segregation that we are currently experiencing, as our children are currently as segregated as they were when Brown versus Board was passed. You want fun facts? I always like fun facts. Fun facts, I can say my ABCs backwards really fast. I have several like karaoke songs I do that are rap versions, including Push It by Salt and Pepper, as well as Ice Ice Baby. And I am actually from a town called Santa Claus, Indiana.
That is super awesome. Yo, that's like way to hit us with the whole list, but it just means that you're engaged to the community, and that's what we need. So for many of my audience members, they're going to be like, what is she doing talking to a candidate? I don't do politics, I don't do sports, and I don't do religion, but you're doing so much for the community. I was like, I have to talk to her and every other candidate that's running right now for District 5. And you clearly got your hands in a lot of things that you're passionate about, and you're also continuing to cause change for the better. So I want to go ahead and applaud you for that. And so awesome to know that you like karaoke, because we're gonna have to go out sometime, girl. Just letting you know. So I want to go ahead and ask you, now diving into slightly political questions, so our audience can also understand who you are, but where do you come from when it comes to politics? What do you consider to be the top 3 issues in your district?
I think the top 3 issues in our district are very reflective of the top 3 issues citywide. Number 1 being affordable housing. Number 2, our lack of efficient and transparent government. And number 3 being our overall just infrastructure, whether that comes to public transportation, watershed runoff, or just, basic things like sidewalks and bike lanes.
Yeah, and those are important things that we definitely have to pay attention to. Every topic is important to us. Different neighborhoods get hit with different topics more than others. So the fact that you're paying attention to what your district really needs is also very important. So I want to go ahead and thank you for that. I want to ask you, what makes you want to do this job? Like, what motivates you? There has to be that turning switch, or that one decision that you decided, this is what I'm going to do.
I think really to answer this question, I kind of have to give you a little bit of my backstory. So I was born to a single mother living below the poverty line. I grew up without, like, you don't recognize it, I think, a lot of times when you're young, but looking back now and seeing, like, we ate everything out of cans because we couldn't afford vegetables, right? And I grew up and my whole focus was like making sure that my children had a better life. And so I worked hard. I went to college. I was like part of the first generation to graduate from college. I got a full ride scholarship, all that jazz, married my high school sweetheart. We have 2 beautiful children. Like, it's all like going according to the plan, except for, like, there's just like this like emptiness, beneath it all. Cause you can see really easily, like, it doesn't take a whole lot to understand, like, when you're in Atlanta, that some people have a really great opportunity and other people have no opportunity. We are the most unequal city in the country. So specifically, when I was working with our youth water entrepreneurs, we would come over, like, they'd come over for Sunday dinner. And there was one particular day where I was getting ready to take them home. I'm backing out of my driveway, and my kids and my husband are like waving, and like there's just this moment. And the boy behind me, he says to me, he's like, Miss Katie, being around you and your family makes me think that I could have a family one day. And the way he said it was like that thought had never occurred to him. The idea of basic things that, even though like my growing up wasn't perfect, we had struggle, but I never not considered that I wouldn't have those things. And so that to me was kind of a breaking point of like, all right, I'm already doing all this stuff, but I got to do more. Like, any opportunity that's given to me to make impact, to make change, like, I have to take it. And, when it came time and Natalie Archibong, who is our current city council representative, decided to run for city council president, I looked at that open seat. I looked at who was currently running, and I was like, yeah, I need to be in this seat. I'm the right person for this. So that's kind of my story.
That's amazing, Katie. That's amazing. Just to know that you're down to earth and you come from where most of us come from, the struggle. You understand where we walk, where we go, where we, just who we are. So that's important. I do want to go ahead and pat you on your back for doing such a tremendous job, from being the first generation that graduates from college, from just being a phenomenal mother and just being a pillar of the community. It's tremendous to see a young lady that, a lot of people want to go ahead and knock us because we're young. I'm 31 next month, but a lot of people want to knock us because we're young. But we don't have all of the knowledge, but we are putting our work in and we're learning as we go. We're humble enough to accept what we don't know so we can grow and help more. So definitely people don't knock us because of our age. We out here doing our best, with what we got. And you can tell that your intentions are pure. So thank you for everything that you do. I want to go ahead and ask you, what do you bring to the job that is unique to you? A lot of people might say, oh, my family has done politics X amount of years and it's my turn, or whatever the scenario may be. Good for you. But I want to ask you, Katie, like, what makes you unique for this position?
Thank you for asking me that question, because you have to know, in order to do this, you have to, within your core, like, know that you are the best person for the job, because this is really freaking hard, emotionally, physically, everything. Like, this is one of the hardest things I've done in my life. And I think what is unique to me is not only where I came from, because I mean, I do understand struggle, but I also recognize my privilege where it is. And I have worked so hard in this community to give what I have. Like, I think that that's like the biggest gift, to like recognize what you have and give it away. And, just to say specifically, I am the only active community leader who is running for this seat. Everyone has the opportunity to be involved with their neighborhood organizations. Everyone has the opportunity to do that. And, I am doing it. There are other people who bring other things to the seat, of course, but that is something for me. The other thing, I am the only candidate that uses a bike as their primary mode of transportation. I think that's so important because there is a lot of people in our city who don't have access to cars, and they need to get around by walking, by biking, by public transit. And if you don't relate to that, how are you truly going to be representative of the people that you're supposed to be representing? The other thing I would add is just my constant work with people in the community, specifically my youth water entrepreneurs. It has just given me such a gift to see where we could really do better and to understand how we as a city can move forward. So, I think that there's a lot of things that I have stated thus far that makes me uniquely qualified. I am the youngest candidate in this race. I am 32 years old. I do not shy away from that fact. But in my time, I have been working since I was 14 years old. Okay. I have held a job since I was 14 years old. I have done a lot of different things in that time. And I feel like I'm the right person to honestly and authentically represent the people of District 5.
I appreciate that so much. You do bring uniqueness to this job. And we need to see also, you said you are a current sitting member of your community. So, in order to do that and still run a campaign, that just tells a lot. There's a lot of dynamic pieces to you. And also a shout out to you too. I've been out on my own since I was 16. So I've held a job since I was 16. And, it just kind of grows on you as you grow up. Even though we're young, we have a lot of hustle in us. We have a lot of growth in us, a lot of strength in us. And people can't take that away from us. They could talk all they want, but our actions speak louder than their words. So yeah, most deaf. I want to go ahead and ask you, why should we vote for you over the other candidates? Now, a lot of people is like, oh, I'm the best. I'm just saying that no one has ever said that. But I want to know, why should we vote for you over the others?
Absolutely. So, like I said, I think our District 5 candidates are the best candidates in any city council race across the city. I don't, we have all had really engaging conversation. Our platforms are all very progressive and similar in a lot of ways. So, you know, I always want to give shout out to my fellow candidates, because again, this is really hard work, and putting yourself up there and out there should demand some level of respect. But at the same time, I know that what our city needs is honesty, is true, gritty, maybe you like it, maybe you don't honesty. And that takes a lot of work. You have to, it takes time, right? And that's why I'm talking about being the only active community leader, because I have already been putting in that work. There are people in my neighborhood and in surrounding neighborhoods who know me, who don't agree with a lot of the things that I believe in, but they know I'm an honest person. They know I'm a good person. And so even though they don't always agree with me, they support me. And, you know, with having Natalie, who's been in this seat for 16 years, we need consistency. We need someone who understands, who knows the district, who does the work, even when they're not running for office. And we also need someone who is going to be here, who isn't using this as a stepping stone to their next political office. And that's not me. Let me tell you straight up, I have no desire to be a representative in the state house. I have no desire to do, you know, anything outside of serving my community. I want to be a very, very old lady and be all wrinkly, and me and my husband sitting on our front porch in our rocking chairs, and our grandchildren come visit us at our house in Kirkwood. You know, that's what I want. I want to help make Atlanta the best that she can be. And I think people see that. I think they understand. And that's why I think I'm the best candidate for this race.
So I was like, wrinkles. I was like, where? We don't age. Don't tell them that. But I so dig it. I appreciate that. And like you said, you know, shout out every other candidate also running. It's not easy work, as we can see. It definitely takes a team, and it takes somebody that is strong with a good, firm backbone. So kudos to you and everybody else. But thank you for letting us know that. I want to go ahead and ask you, can you please give us your social media link so we could go ahead and follow you and support you?
Absolutely. And I'll start out with my website, Katie for Atlanta, and that's KatieFOR Atlanta.com. There you can sign up to volunteer, you can donate to my campaign, you can learn more about my platform. But I also really would love for you to follow me on social media. And I made it real simple. They're all the same across all social media platforms. It's Katie #4 ATL. Katie #4 ATL. And I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter. Like, come on, follow me. And you know what? Like, if that's your way of communicating, like, message me. Like, you got a question? Send me a message. I will answer you. And that is, you know, I make two promises. I make two campaign promises. One, that when we get back to City Hall, I will either ride my bike or take the MARTA bus down Memorial Drive to get to City Hall. The other campaign promise I make is I promise to always be accessible, and I will meet you where you are. And if that means that we have to talk on the phone, great. Text message, great. Like Instagram, Facebook, it's all good, because that is my job. And that should be the person who takes this seat. That should be their job.
Almost does. So we'll go ahead and put the links below so we could go ahead and follow you, and it's easy for everyone to just click and follow and be engaged. I want to go ahead and ask you, what is your House of Ramirez shout out? Now, you know, we couldn't end this interview without doing a House of Ramirez shout out. We always shout out people that's in our corner. It's very important. It takes a village for us to be where we're at. So who is your House of Ramirez shout out?
Well, I have this little picture right here, and this was taken of this guy. at the East Atlanta Strut. Took this picture. I saw he had like a Polaroid. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And this is my team, guys. This is my basics. So my campaign manager, Kyra, my social media coordinator, Somi, and we're all very similar in age. We're diverse in backgrounds. We're diverse, but in a lot of ways. But ultimately, like, they have been my ride or dies here, and I just want to shout out to them because I think they are amazing, amazing women, and I just love them to death. So that's my shout out.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We definitely got to shout out your team. So I want to go ahead and thank you. It's the first time you're on my show. It's not the last time. Katie, thank you for your patience and also your time, because it's not easy to make time for something like this. And yet you did so. So thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.